sex, but it's a little bit deeper than that. When you are consistently waking up next to the same person and sharing your bed with somebody, I feel like that is very special in itself. But when you are combining that with lovemaking every morning, I really feel like there's no better way to have a happy relationship. It's the perfect boost of energy in the morning, and you really do feel connected with that partner for the rest of the day. My mom stayed over at our house a little while ago, and she asked me, Maddie, were you and Andrew having sex last night? I think I heard you. And I was like, Mom, no. And she's like, are you sure? I think I heard you. And I said, babe, my mom thinks that we were having sex last night. And he just looks at her and he says, Leslie, we're morning people. Silky is definitely about a person in my life where he would just kind of come in cycles. We would crave each other, and then we'd let each other live our lives, and then we'd come back and crave each other again, and then kind of like go our separate ways. The connection lacked in other areas of our life. We really only connected in the bedroom. And there was something very sweet and refreshing about that, because we just both understood this is where we thrive, and we were able to explore deeper, more meaningful relationships elsewhere.
If I let myself, I'll sink into you. If I let myself, I'll sink into you.
I think oftentimes people who have been hurt by other people or by the same person over and over build these walls. And sometimes there's this person in your life, or you meet a new person that kind of tests those boundaries. And quicksand is basically about meeting somebody who you know is going to fuck shit up for you. And you can either keep running and running and running away and being scared, or you could just sink right into it and see what happens.
We gotta give our love those deeper, deeper roots. We gotta give our love those deeper, deeper.
Well, of course I wrote Storm on a rainy day. There's so many things about the rain that remind me of love. Just the smell of it, the sound of it, the comforting feeling, but also the fact that it comes and goes, and sometimes it lasts longer than others, and sometimes it turns into these storms that you have to survive. But it's the storms that give the trees their deeper roots, and it's the hard times in a relationship that ultimately give your relationships depth.
Something's missing, feel left drifting, and I've been wondering where I could.
The song Vacation isn't about going on vacation with somebody. It's more about the places on somebody you love's body in which you need to visit, and that you're craving some alone time with. I feel like whether it's busy schedules or long distance, there can be certain parts of somebody, even like their touch or the way that they smell, or just like their general energy, that is like a getaway for you. For me, it's my husband's neck. If I don't see him all day and he comes home, the first thing I do is I run over to him and I just like bury my nose in his neck. It's like my favorite part. And to me, that's like a little escape. It's a little getaway.
You should let me go.
Things and Silky are actually about the same person. There were times where I felt very happy and comfortable with the relationship thriving only in the bedroom and not elsewhere. And then there were times where I actually felt pretty insecure about that. And I questioned why it wasn't going in a different direction, and why we could only connect in that way and not outside of the bedroom. I felt like I couldn't really be my total self around him. And I felt like maybe if he had seen certain aspects and if we had gone deeper, it could have. But then also we did kind of try that sometimes, and it didn't work out that way. I say in the song, "You could never understand me because you've never seen the colors of my wings." And that's what I mean by that.
Could have been the one, but you went ahead and took it too far. Too far, too far, too far, too far.
I see a lot of people in LA with like this endless potential, and I know a lot of people who came out here to do the same thing as me, but they just get super distracted. I'm certainly guilty of steering off my course, and I've struggled with drugs and alcohol. But there comes a point in time where you have to just not take it too far and not be hungover and, look after yourself and make those decisions for your future. You show up at your boys, but it's not enough. Now you gotta take shots. Now you gotta go out. And then you go to the after party. Where does it end? When do you start looking out for yourself?
To be in your prime, it's a beautiful state of mind. Commit to positivity, comes back to just one thing: are you happy?
A friend of mine and I were talking about Rihanna, and we were saying how we can't really pinpoint a time in her life where she was in her prime, because we felt like she was always growing and always in her prime. Like right now she's in her prime. 5 years ago, she was in her prime. She's just like this ever-growing thing. And we were like, that's goals. It's important to not look at your youth as your best version of yourself, because there's so many things about getting older and so many things that time brings that are way more valuable than just your youth. Your sense of self, having wisdom and a greater depth of perceptance, and just better decision making. If you are constantly learning new things and trying to be a better version of yourself always, you can always be in your prime.
You arrested my attention. All the focus is on you.
The Grove is this big outdoor mall here in LA, and during the holidays it's insane. It's just like a sea of people. And my husband and I were very ambitious one day, and we went over there, and I remember us having to cling on to each other just to kind of move through the crowd together. And so he put his hand on my waist, and I rested my head on his shoulder, and I remember us just kind of moving through this sea of people. And I'm just so in love with him, and the way that he smells reminds me of home, and we're just so comfortable with each other. And I remember being totally blind to everybody else. I think the best dates for anybody are those dates where your focus and your attention is 100% on the person in front of you, the person that you're with. And anything could be going on around you. You could be doing nothing. You could be somewhere really lame, and you're just having the best time because of the person that you're with.